March 29th, 2017, a little 8-year-old girl named Sarang goes missing. They pull CCTV cameras of that building and they see, wait, that's Sarang, no? Sure enough, they see her around 1 p.m. following this figure up to floor 13 of one of the nearby buildings.
Oh my god. She's wearing a suit because she's role-playing. She's like in cosplay basically as a mafia member. Oh my god.
The investigators see in the corner of the entryway, shoved to the side, a pair of shoes. Tiny, small shoes, small enough to fit an 8-year-old.
This is her, man. This is the freak. She's 16 too. She looks terrifying too. Look at this. This is like a horror movie. She actually looks evil.
So the forensics teams reach over, open up the white bags, and they find the dismembered remains of 8-year-old Sarang.
Damn. Damn, bro. Hello, YouTube. In today's video, we are back with the Queen, Rotten Mango, Stephanie, and the title of today's case is absolutely crazy. High schooler, 8-year-old girl, and then gifts the body parts to her lover for a roleplay fantasy. Absolutely insane, but honestly, par for the course when you're watching Rotten Mango and when you watch me, Shushi Mushi. As you can see, we are streaming on Twitch right now. There's chat above me. We watch videos like this all the time: true crime, Vocaloid, short films. Sometimes we play games. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, you should follow me on Twitch to join us for moments like this. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on what I'm doing. Alrighty, I'm gonna shut up now. Lock in, chat. Lock in.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Ophelia is a higher up at one of Italy's most powerful mafias, and she's got a thing for fingers. The way that Ophelia loves hands and fingers, the way that the fingers curve, especially when they're slightly slender. They almost feel fragile when Ophelia is holding them in her hands, like you could just snap a finger off, like a little carrot. When the fingers are slightly bent, the knuckles that softly curve. I mean, everything about hands just gets Ophelia going. She loves them. She loves hands. And she hates the fact that she only has one. Her right hand was chopped off during this particularly nasty fight with the enemy mafia. They're fighting over territory. They're fighting over land, which is why Ophelia is now sitting here, sipping a cocktail in the middle of this very busy bar in South Korea. Yeah, Hongdae. This person...
Okay, Ophelia is drinking.
Named Kim shows up. Kim is part of that enemy mafia. And the two of them, I mean, I don't know how I would describe them other than enemies that are still enemies, but are sometimes sadistically, romantically involved with each other. They hate each other. They're destined to despise each other. They're from opposing mafias.
Okay, so she's just describing an RP right now, like an RP world, role-playing world of two mafias.
But right now, Kim is sitting next to Ophelia and pushes a bag closer to her. What is it? Take a look. Ophelia peers inside and she smiles. This is why she keeps Kim around. This is why they get along. Only Kim would know that money, gold, these aren't even good gifts. Kim asks Ophelia, isn't it pretty? Very pretty. Ophelia looks up, smiles at Kim, and then Ophelia uses both of her hands to tuck the gift bag under the table. Because Ophelia's right hand was never chopped off. Ophelia is not a mafia boss. Ophelia is not even her real name. In fact, she's never even been to Italy. She is a 17-year-old girl from South Korea that met Kim on a role-playing website.
Okay, this makes more sense. Okay, yeah, she definitely looks like a D&D player. She looks the part, I'm gonna be real. So they were play pretending, like, look at this present that I got you. We're opposing mafias. Yeah. And then she opens the bag, and this girl actually went out and dismembered somebody, a little 8-year-old. And that's what we just saw, right? That's what we saw, right? So she went out in character, and she was so into the game that she was like, I'm gonna kill this kid and give it as a gift to my friend or lover or whatever, my fake role-playing lover, because of this game.
But then the question is, who is Kim? Why would Kim actually kill for her? Because inside of that bag are very real chunks of human lungs, human thighs, as well as a single severed finger. A pretty little finger.
Oh, I get it. Okay, until this... At this point, I get what she said. Okay.
Few quick disclaimers on this case. There are mentions of self-exit, cannibalism, dismemberment, other details of graphic crimes. They all unfortunately also involve juveniles, so please keep that in mind going into it. But with that being said, today's case is Korean. We had our wonderful Korean translators help assist in the gathering of data for this case. And another thing to note is we only know the last names of the parties involved due to Korea's privacy laws. The victim is given an alias, so we're going to stick with that. With that being said, let's get into it.
Lock in. I'm locked in, chat. I'm so locked in. I'm not getting lost again.
There are online communities in South Korea that you can join. It's a mixture of the games Dungeons and Dragons, Mafia, and social media.
Okay, so we got nerds, okay, Korean nerds, and they play D&D and stuff.
You have the roleplay aspect from Dungeons and Dragons, the mystery plot-driven game aspect of the game Mafia, and it's all combined in social media chat rooms. Here's how some of them work.
Ooh, okay,
Obviously,
so they took the games, those nerdy games, to the social media world. So now it's not just like people in person at a round table playing these games. It's chat rooms. Okay.
and it's all combined in social media chat rooms. Here's how some of them work. Obviously, each community, each chat room plays by different rules, and this is just a subgenre of a bigger community, essentially. But there are chat rooms you can join with game masters, chat room owners. They start the chat room, they let anybody that they approve inside the chat room, and they're the one guiding this game. They've all concocted a plot that you can read up on before you join, or before you apply to join. An example would be,
Oh, okay. And then okay. So what she just said, before you can even join one of these virtual online chat rooms to play these D&D/role-playing games, you have to read basically the setting or the story that you're jumping into and what your role is. So it's like you read the script, and then when you jump into the game, you know how to act and stuff.
an example would be, this chat room plot is a high school that has been shut down during the zombie apocalypse. If you are infected with the
Okay,
virus,
so she's describing the plot of a virtual room you're about to join.
this chat room plot is a high school that has been shut down during the zombie apocalypse. If you are infected with the virus, it takes 72 hours before symptoms arise. It is up to the students to decide which 5 students are positive with the virus before the 72 mark is over.
So pretend
Meanwhile,
students.
the 5 infected students know that they are infected and want to quietly infect as many people as possible. The catch here is, the ones with the virus, they emanate a very specific scent. But with
Okay, so they give off a green aura with flies. Okay.
that scent is very weak in the first few hours of infection, but within 72 hours, it becomes overpowering. But the more people that you infect, the less intense your scent becomes. It's almost like you are giving away some of that scent to each person that you infect. So it would be in every infected person's interest, self-interest, to infect as many people as quickly as possible.
Okay.
If you decide that this is a game that you want to play, you likely already have a host of characters that you've been playing. Like you have a repertoire. Maybe you have 10 characters that you've already recycled in different chat rooms. Because it takes a lot of energy to come up with every single individual character. So maybe you have a high school character, a middle-aged character, some fantasy characters that have superpowers ready to be recycled, maybe a little bit tweaked to be used in different chat rooms. However, if you want to play, then you have to create a character and submit that character to the game master. The more thorough the character developing
So you have to like submit an application to the team leader, basically.
The more thorough the character developing is, the more fun the game becomes. So let's say you want to join the zombie chat room. You would create a high schooler. Let's say I'm creating a junior in high school, a girl named Susie. She's very smart. She has a studious personality. But that's boring, right? We gotta add more to her character. But it's because she's being manipulated by the teachers. She has this one teacher that's groomed her since middle school, and he helps her get all the exam grades before the test.
Is that also pretend? They're pretend grooming each other? It's just part of her character. She was pretend groomed by a middle school teacher. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She thinks that she's in love with this teacher, but it could also be because her parents are incredibly strict with her getting the best grades. She just found out that not only are they quarantining in this high school with a teacher that's grooming her, right? There's people infected with the zombie virus, but this teacher has essentially manipulated her, exerted control over her since she was younger, and she just found out that he's been doing this to all these other students as well.
This roleplay world could be its own case if it was in real life. It could be its own Rotten Mango episode.
Now, her objective is to find out who has the virus and somehow, without exposing herself in the process, to get them to give the teacher the virus.
Because she wants to kill the teacher.
Yes. For example, if she finds out that Michelle is infected, it would be in her best interest to somehow get Michelle and the teacher constantly in the same room together and to perhaps evolve into something that they shouldn't. But she doesn't think that she should die. She wants to get out alive. She doesn't care if her other peers do. All her end goal is get into that dream college still and get that teacher infected so that he can die. That's all she cares about. She doesn't care about identifying which students so that they can kill him off. She doesn't care about other students getting out carefully. She wants to find out who has the virus so they can give it to the teacher. Now, I believe in most cases, if I'm not mistaken, the game master will go through and approve each character's request to be admitted into the game, which means they read through all the characters' backstories. They want to create the most complicated plot. They don't want just someone to come in and be like, I am a high school girl who's smart but likes Kevin. that it's not enough. And once the characters are in this chat room, they create social media profiles for their character. There's one big chat room with the game master that will narrate the events of that night. Night 1 of the high school zombie apocalypse. The students have organized a meeting in the stadium where each student was to go up to the podium and explain why they couldn't have been the ones to be infected, to try and give alibis, to try and give proof. There was a vote with paper slips of names being slipped into a box that would vote off 20 students that seemed the most suspicious. The whole process was incredibly tense, with the group stopping to argue nonstop about how, is this fair? Are there better methods? Who should even be in control of counting the freaking votes? The students opted for a public counting. Each slip would have to have been opened in front of everyone, shown, the name read, and separated into piles. Those students were then barricaded into a classroom with no way out. One of those students happens to be a powerful governor's daughter. And now the governor and the police are heavily involved in tracking the movements of every single student inside that school. And they have sent a very strong message. If the governor's daughter does not get out alive and uninfected, nobody else will. But most alarming is last night on floor 5, there is a girl found in one of the bathroom stalls. She was drowned in the toilet. There is a note in her pocket that reads, "Watch out, it's not just the virus that can kill you. It's in the water systems."
So these are the...
Okay, so this is just all still a hypothetical plot that she made up. So all of this is just basically getting us ready for what is coming, the actual plot of an actual game that people played.
We will all gather by the end of day tonight in the chat rooms to discuss what is the next step, what to do, and what we have all learned. So now each chat room player is then ready to go off into groups. You can start a new chat room with just maybe 5 people in there, almost like you walk into a classroom and there's only 5 people having a little meeting. Or you can have one-on-one direct messages with other people, and you can trade secrets, you can lie to other people, and then by the end of the night, given that time period, everyone comes into the big chat and they start saying what they know.
That's crazy. There's so many layers to this. So in that role-playing universe, you're not limited to just the main server, let's say, the main chat room. As students in this make-believe world, you can make your own chat rooms and then like talk to each other, spreading rumors and shit like that. That's so weird. What the heck? Okay.
Yeah, it's like Among Us. Yes, that's very good. But it's such a fun, fascinating concept that I think that I would really be into. I think I'd really enjoy being a game master. Just depending on how each game is played and how it's set up, you can actually be immersed in one singular role play story, one room for days, weeks. Some have gone 6 months. There's actually warnings in some of these communities. Sometimes when your character is killed off in rather graphic ways, and since you've been so immersed in these people, in this life, in this character, with everybody around you in this storyline, they say it almost feels jarring. There is a sense of almost emotional betrayal. Many in those communities have said, I mean, sometimes it can be a lot.
If you spend too much time, I'd imagine role-playing, especially in a chat room like this, it would have real world consequences. Like you will actually maybe stop being friends with somebody you've been friends with forever. So it's like, I know so many people. I remember seeing YouTubers that were playing Among Us and streamers as well that would actually get for real pissed at each other. And there would be drama off stream because of the quote unquote betrayal that would go on in Among Us, like raging at each other. I don't know if y'all remember that era when Among Us was exploding during COVID. Like legitimate friends would hate each other because of Among Us, because somebody would fuck the other person over and vice versa.
Feels like someone in you died, and then you have to remind yourself, that's literally a roleplay chat room. Why am I crying? Why do I feel grief? Why do I feel like I've been broken up with? I imagine it's like acting. You get attached to your character, and when something happens, or maybe you get killed off in the middle of the season and everybody goes on without you, you have to disconnect from the real world emotions of that. I think that's why it's up to the game master to make sure that each person is well vetted. That's also very important, because imagine everyone is playing this well-crafted role play, and yet there's an immature troll that's like, I walk into the room and I kill 20 students with my samurai sword. Everyone has to be immersed in the fantasy. Interestingly enough, I believe some of the bigger webtoon authors and game illustrators, they've all, at least to some degree, have been in role-playing communities online. So it's not this weird niche community. It seems pretty common. A lot of people enjoy it. It's a community that everyone tries to keep up with everybody's fantasies. For example, if you describe your character's backstory, nobody is going to be like, okay, cool story, bro, because then no one wants to hang out with them. They're going to engage. They're going to treat it like it's real. They're not going to be like, that's gross and immature. You're dumb. It's going to be very realistic, which also means people have the ability to lie in these chat rooms. They can lie about their ages. There could be a 25-year-old guy talking to a 17-year-old girl, trying to get more information on her in the real world, not her character. But you would never really know, because that's the point of the community. You never break the fantasy, which if you're not careful, it can lead to some very, very dangerous situations.
Oh, so it's getting even spicier now. So it's like under the guise of role playing, somebody could try and get actual information on you in the real world. So like she just gave the example of a 25-year-old dude basically slimily getting information out of a 17-year-old.
One of the roleplay chat rooms for today's case. Two separate Italian mafias that hate each other, but somehow a higher-up boss of Mafia A.
Okay, so now she's describing the plot of the actual game that took place in this case that led to somebody killing, that led to that Korean girl killing an actual 8-year-old baby.
Italian mafias that hate each other. One of the roleplay chat rooms for today's.
Okay, wait, sorry. Okay. Right here, she's describing the real case.
Very, very dangerous situations. One of the roleplay chat rooms for today's case. Two separate Italian mafias that hate each other, but somehow a higher-up boss of Mafia A and a random henchman for Mafia B have fallen in this weird, angsty, sexually tense relationship. One of the people in the chat room is Ophelia Clements. Her bio reads, well, do you even know my name? She's a higher up in one of the mafias who seems to be interested in dating the henchman named PJ from the enemy mafia. They have a bit of an enemies to lovers storyline. It seems more like they hate like each other. Their idea of flirting consists of torturing each other and trying to murder one another. Their messages to each other are semi-threatening, semi-flirtatious. Like when one of them does something to harm the other, they'll text each other. All revenge is beautiful and devastating. Of course it is. Then I'll be waiting. PJ's profile reads, mentally speaking, I'm not great. Male, 5'7" inches tall, 141 pounds. Now, Ophelia, the mafia boss, seems to have that character of put-together woman that's forced to be harsh considering she's in this male-dominated field and everybody's trying to kill her. She has to be even more ruthless than her male counterparts for the reason that she has something to prove as a woman, as a mafia boss that happens to be a woman. She didn't get to the top by smiling and being nice to boys. PJ, on the other hand, is just an unhinged, mentally unwell henchman for the other mafia. He likes to kill for the thrill of killing. He would post on Twitter things like, the most pain is to grab a fistful of your own hair and slam your head up against the wall. But at least you'll be knocked out. Doesn't it feel painful to cut your neck before you cut your nerves off? The top of the neck is the most comfortable in terms of cutting the cartilage. I've never eaten brain before. Have you? So the two of them, they have this tumultuous relationship where they'll try to kidnap, torture each other. At one point, Ophelia kidnaps PJ, holds PJ hostage, force feeds him human flesh, which results in PJ developing a massive phobia of chewing and swallowing. But secretly, PJ starts to develop this almost craving for the taste of human meat, particularly the
Okay, this is all still happening in the virtual roleplay fantasy world, but it's still very troubling that they have this kind of vivid imagination when it comes to gore.
Lungs and the organs. And then Ophelia would essay PJ, but according to the characters, deep down, PJ likes the abuse. He likes being abused by Ophelia.
So all these are being talked about in the chat room?
Yes, so even the kidnapping is narrated. It's almost like, I kidnap you. So I believe there's asterisks or parentheses for actions. And they even do like emotes. So they'll write something, asterisk, smirking. I don't know if that's all the roleplay chat rooms, but I know for this specific one, these specific details, that's how they do it. In the roleplay chat rooms, a message goes out from PJ to Ophelia, the two mafia members. PJ texts Ophelia, I'm going hunting. But this is the interesting part. PJ sends a real life picture of themselves wearing this mafia hitman style outfit. So this is becoming like a blending of the roleplay and reality because this is not a fake internet photo, or at least that's what Ophelia thinks. This looks like a very real photo of PJ. PJ promises to bring Ophelia her favorites, fingers and lungs. That's in the roleplay. That's part of their little roleplay because remember, Ophelia loves fingers and PJ has a thing for lungs right now.
Oh, dude. So they, before Kim, the girl's real name in real life, they were literally talking about in the roleplay world cutting off fingers and lungs and stuff, and that's what we saw at the beginning of the video, a real bag of IRL fingers, lungs, etc. Oh my god.
But in the real world, March 29th, 2017, a little 8-year-old girl named Sarang goes missing. Sarang is her pseudonym, by the way. Her real identity has not been revealed on the wishes of her parents. Now, 8-year-old Sarang goes missing after school, but the thing is, she goes missing in her apartment complex. They call it an apartment forest in South Korea. It's a collection of the same apartment building. They look identical in this massive park. It's a big giant circle and there's maybe
Kid literally got kidnapped because of this cringy ass role-playing game. Oh my god.
12 giant skyscrapers, tall buildings scattered around, and then on the ground there's little playgrounds, there's little walking areas, recreational areas scattered about. You could live your whole life in one of these apartment complexes. And they all have this massive group chat. Every single resident has a group chat, and it is becoming overly active March 29th. A mom is looking for her child. Has anybody seen her? What's her name? Sarang from Complex D. Maybe the child fell asleep at her friend's house? These are real text messages in that group. Oh, I know that child. Redacted's mom is probably taking her in for a snack. They're really close. Have you guys checked out her friend's house? It has been a few hours since the little 8-year-old girl's Sarang has gone missing, and it's a very safe, relatively wealthy area. But why is everybody on edge? It doesn't make sense. There had been recent reports that a cult had been approaching all the kids with coins and snacks, promising to take them to an arcade if they follow them. And each child would follow them. Eventually, the parents would find them. The child would have had so much fun. The cult would use this as an opportunity to lure the parents into joining, or at least trying to slow.
See, like, it brain rotted them. Like, maybe we can try and get the parents to join our chat room and join the game because we kidnapped their daughter in real life. What? Bro, that's psychotic. That's actual psycho shit.
And promising to take them to an arcade if they follow them. And each child would follow them. Eventually, the parents would find them. The child would have had so much fun. The cult would use this as an opportunity to lure the parents into joining, or at least trying to slowly indoctrinate them through their children. Yeah, there have been reports of that. So people are getting freaked out. Typically, nothing happens to the children. They have fun at the arcade, but we don't know. It's not a great feeling for the parents. Besides, Sarang's parents know their daughter. They're saying she's not the type to go anywhere, even an arcade, without asking her parents first. This doesn't make sense. The police are called, and they're quick with their search. They find the little girl that was last seen playing with Sarang's friend. They were playing at the playground, and they ask her, where did your friend Sarang go? She asked this adult for their phone to call her mom, to tell her mom that she wanted to play more at the playground. But the person said that they didn't have any battery on their phone, which is why Sarang followed them to their apartment. Which apartment? That building. They pull CCTV cameras of that building, and they see, wait, that's Sarang. No? Sure enough, they see her around 1 p.m. following this figure up to floor 13 of one of the nearby buildings.
Oh, that's so chilling, dude. And to know that this person is, again, just a part of this world that doesn't exist. And she's like, her brain is so entrenched in that cringy ass fantasy world. She went to a park to lure this, what was it again? An 8-year-old girl to an apartment with, oh my god, bro, these people.
They found her. There's nothing about the footage that's alarming. It's not like the adult with her is grabbing her hand, forcibly pulling her into the apartment. It's just, the only thing is the figure is a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, she tricked her.
With her is wearing a suit with sunglasses. They're carrying a large suitcase with them, but they won't look at any of the CCTV cameras.
Oh my god. She's wearing a suit because she's role playing. She's like in cosplay basically as a mafia member. Oh my god. It's just so ridiculous, dude. Oh.
And it's just something about this person's body movements. It's, yes, their clothes are weird. The suitcase is weird. The suitcase, they're dragging it, but it feels awfully light the way they're dragging it. Like there's nothing in there.
Is it a big one or?
I would say about carry-on size.
Oh, so it's a smaller one.
Yes, but it's just whipping around. It's not, it's just weird. I don't think I could ever whip around like that unless it's fully empty. And the way that they move in the clothing, it doesn't seem like they're comfortable. It doesn't feel right. It's just weird. They can't really put their finger on it, and it almost seems like they're dressed like a caricature of a mafia hitman or something. But it's fine.
Because she is.
They get off on the 13th floor. They just need to search the 13th floor, right? The police search the whole floor. They turn floor 13 upside down, and these two are nowhere to be found. They start combing through the rest of the footage to see maybe 8-year-old Sarang is seen coming back down, or maybe she goes to another floor in the elevator. But no. They just see other residents going about their day. They see teenagers in their pajamas throwing out trash, moms hauling groceries inside, grandmas going on their afternoon walks. They don't see an 8-year-old Sarang anywhere.
So they got out on 13th floor and Plea checked every single residence.
On the 13th floor.
And nothing.
Nothing even amiss. Nothing suspicious. Nothing that looks like the people in the footage. One of the lead investigators would later say along the lines of, this is good. I mean, not that the situation is good, but considering the facts, this is a very safe area. It's a densely...
Oh, was that PJ, the one in the suit? You guys think that was PJ?
I mean, not that the situation is good, but considering the facts, this is a very safe area. It's a densely packed apartment forest, they call it, which is, and the same apartment building, her grandparents live in them. The complex itself is right around the corner from a police station. It's incredibly low crime. They know which building she was last seen going up to. Maybe she took the stairs where there's no cameras. And clearly she didn't leave the building. There's no footage of her coming down, which means she's in the building somewhere, in some of these 15 floors. They just have to find her. Because how else does an 8-year-old leave the building without the police knowing? That same day, March 29th, 2017, Katie, this is a fake name, because she wishes to be anonymous, but she does tell authorities and reporters what happened March 29th. Katie says she got a text message from one of her distant friends, I guess you could call them. Come to my dinner party. I'm slicing up some meat right now. It'll be fun. Tonight.
Oh gosh, that already makes me, given the context of what we know, come over. I'm cutting the meat right now. Dude. Like what meat is she cut? Oh God.
Katie's at a party. I'm slicing up some meat right now. It'll be fun. Tonight. Katie's looking at her phone. It's Wednesday night. An impromptu dinner party from someone. I mean, this friend is just, it doesn't feel right. She flips over on her bed and sends a very polite, sorry, can't make it. Maybe next time. She just thought, what a weird invite. What a weird person. Whatever. She throws her phone on her nightstand, falls asleep. But within a few hours, Katie says, she jerks awake. She hears someone punching in the numbers to her door code. In Korea, most people don't have key locks on their apartment doors, but rather they have door keypads where you input a code to unlock the door. But each time you press a number, it's a noise. It's like a beeping noise. She hears beep, 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 beep. And her eyes are wide open. She can't see anything. The whole room is dark. And she hears...
Dude, oh my God. I would be scared shitless if I'm in my room late at night and I hear the code to my door beeping because somebody's trying to get in. Oh my God.
Someone has come into the apartment. She hears loud, heavy footsteps, and it sounds like it's coming closer and closer to her room. The door swings open, and Katie says she sees that friend, the creepy friend that invited her to the creepy dinner party, the one that Katie turned down, standing in her doorway, holding a knife. You didn't come over. The friend starts charging towards her with a knife, and Katie said she screams, wakes up from the nightmare, drenched in sweat. She's frantic. She's breathing very quickly, checks the time, middle of the night.
Oh, dude, it was a nightmare.
This whole thing was a nightmare. Katie reaches over, grabs her phone.
Oh, dude, I was actually scared for a second. Jesus.
But the invite to that dinner party was very real. Her strange friend Kim.
Oh, but the invite was real with like the slicing meat and stuff.
Really had invited her to a dinner party.
Kim is...
the one from the beginning of the story that gifts Ophelia the fingers. The police are stuck. They have no idea where 8-year-old Sarang has gone inside this building. They take the footage of her going up to the 13th floor with this random person, and they start asking the residents, do you know who this person is with 8-year-old Sarang? I don't know. I think that looks like the resident from floor 15. I don't know why they're dressed like that, but I think it's them. That's strange. Floor 15, are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Do you see why that's weird?
They got out on floor 13.
Yeah, and they have a suitcase. Why would you walk up 2 levels with a suitcase and get off on floor 13? It just doesn't make sense unless you're hiding something, unless you want everyone to think that you
Yeah, unless you're hiding a body.
live on floor 13 or misguide them.
Yep.
What did you say the residents' names are again? Oh, it's the Kim family. Authorities rush into the apartment in question, the Kim house on the 15th floor. They rush past the front door, past the kitchen, and when they get to the living room, they're standing there and they're staring at a completely spotless living room. Nothing is amiss. Nothing is in disarray. Not a single hair out of place. The lead investigator points at the bedroom doors. They split off. They search the entire house, room by room, closet by closet. Bedrooms cleared, closets cleared, kitchen cleared, restroom cleared. Not a single drop of blood, not a single hair, nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Except on the way out, the investigators see in the corner of the entryway, shoved to the side, a pair of shoes. Tiny.
It's her shoes, dude. The chills that would hit me in that moment when you see all of these, they even stick out. I mean, these are all black shoes, definitely adult sized. But then you have these bright, colorful, it looks like teal with pink. If I saw that there, I'd be like, oh my fucking God.
A pair of shoes. Tiny, small shoes. Small enough to fit an 8-year-old. They bring in the luminol. They spray it across the bathroom, the kitchen, everywhere. They turn down the lights and the whole bathroom lights up. Someone had cleaned up an entire crime scene. The bathtub in particular was at one point recently caked and smeared in blood, to the point that this indicates some kind of dismemberment, murder, or torture of some sort. But one question authorities have is, how were they able to clean it up so well? It almost seems like a seasoned professional hit job, the work of a professional. What did you say the Kims do anyway? I think the resident said the dad is a doctor? A few months later, the door of the courtroom pushes open and in walk 12 attorneys from some of the top law firms in South Korea. This is the dream team of attorneys. They are the best of the best in the criminal defense attorney field.
Good.
To get them on retainer, each one would be at least $10,000, if not more.
There's 12 of them?
12 of them. You're talking about
Bet.
lawyers' fees close to $1 million, maybe.
Let's go.
Wow.
They're here to defend their client, 8-year-old Sarang's killer, 16-year-old Kim, the daughter of a well-established...
Wait, they're here to defend Kim? Wait. Did I hear that right? Wait.
The door of the courtroom pushes open I think the resident said the dad is a doctor. A few months later, the door of the courtroom pushes open and in walk 12 attorneys from some of the top law firms in South Korea. This is the dream team of attorneys. They are the best of the best in the criminal defense attorney field.
Oh, wait, yeah, somebody said, yes, Kim has a rich family. This is the defense team. Dude, what? That just shows you, man, money gives you such an advantage in the legal system. It's so unfair.
To get them on retainer, each one would be at least $10,000, if not more.
There's 12 of them?
12 of them. You're talking about lawyers' fees close to $1 million, maybe.
Wow.
They're here to defend their client, 8-year-old Sarang's killer, 16-year-old Kim. The daughter...
So this is her, man. This is the freak. She's 16, too. God damn.
...of a well-established Sarang's killer, 16-year-old Kim. The daughter of a well-established doctor. It's not the doctor, it's his daughter. 16-year-old Kim. She was the last one seen on the CCTV footage with Sarang. She was wearing her mom's oversized suit, oversized sunglasses, dragging around a suitcase. That's why the figure looks so weird. It's like a little kid wearing clothes that they're not comfortable with, that are a little too big for them.
So she was literally in cosplay here, luring this poor little girl here to her death. And it was a gruesome one too. I mean, you heard the description when they scanned the bathtub with blacklight, blood. So it's like, it was violent, dude. That's just, oh, God.
Sarang into the house. She is the only one that was in the Kim family apartment the whole time during the murder. 16-year-old Kim is now on trial for the murder of 8-year-old Sarang. When Kim was first brought into the police station, immediately after her arrest, she was arrested, I want to say 16 hours after Sarang went missing. Or after the murder. She wasn't reported missing until later. So maybe like 12 hours after she was reported missing.
And the 16-year-old, cleaned up the whole apartment?
In actually less than 2 hours.
Like spotless?
Not a single drop of blood.
Wow.
2 hours.
And the police almost overlooked it?
Yes.
If it's not for the shoes?
If it wasn't for the shoes, I think she would have gotten away with it for a while. Wow. I mean, perhaps they would have eventually come down to her, but yeah, it would have taken longer.
Wow.
That's crazy that she was that good at it as a 16-year-old. That's insane.
Kim is first brought into the police station after her arrest. She's led into the interrogation room. The investigators that aren't maybe working...
She looks terrifying too. Look at this. This is like a horror movie. She actually looks evil, like a proper villain here.
When Kim is first brought into the police station after her arrest, she's led into the interrogation room. The investigators that aren't maybe working on this case, but they knew that some of their peers were, because they're working other cases, they're looking at her and they're asking their peers, is that another witness you got coming in? Just from the way she carried herself, her look, nobody assumed that they caught the killer. She looked more like a helpful neighbor that might be able to provide a few more statements, a few more insights to the prosecutors, not a full-blown killer who dismembered an 8-year-old. One of the officers even asked, the one that killed and dismembered a child is a child? A child killed a child? The interrogators bring her into the room, and up close, she actually looks even younger than her age. She almost has this plush cheeks, innocent, childlike, naive appearance.
I was gonna say, it's kind of off-putting how evil she looks, but at the same time, she has the face of somebody not that much older than the 8-year-old, maybe 12.
It's like a fresh-faced, maybe 13-year-old. But it's chilling. The investigator working on the case said, her eyes, she would just follow you with her eyes, observing and staring so intently. They said it was very creepy. She just looks at them and she bluntly states, I don't remember. I think I had a dream. I don't know. My head just hurt so much and it felt like someone had hit me on the head. And then when I woke up, I just had a feeling that I had done something bad. But I don't remember. I really killed her? I thought it was a dream. I don't remember. You don't remember? The police are like, you don't remember anything? Let's jog your memory then. 10:50 a.m. She goes out hunting with her new disguise on, trying very clearly to make herself appear like she does not live at this apartment complex. Because why else is she lugging around a suitcase? It's not like there's a kill kit in there. There's nothing in there. It seems like she's trying to misguide people into thinking that she's a visitor rather than a resident. And then she gets off on the 13th floor, this whole outfit, she's wearing sunglasses, she's trying to appear like an adult. You don't remember any of that? She doesn't remember how 8-year-old Sarang was playing with her friends on the playground but wanted to call her mom to ask her if she could stay out longer, but she doesn't have a phone. So she went to the only adult that was at the playground. And she specifically even went to a woman. Because a lot of kids are taught in South Korea, and probably perhaps everywhere, you don't really approach a male adult for help. You approach someone who looks like a mom, is typically the advice that's given to children. She approaches a female adult. Excuse me, miss, I need to call my mother.
I would honestly agree with that.
Can I borrow your phone? The woman in this oversized blazer, aka Kim, leans down, gets eye level with Sarang and smiles. My phone battery is dead. Why don't we go back to my house and you can use my landline? Forensic data would later show that Kim's phone was indeed not dead and had a lot of battery. 8-year-old Sarang did not know that. Sarang looked around, debating on what to do. Her friend said that there were no other adults readily available. Otherwise, she would have just been like, oh, it's okay. I'll just go to the next adult and ask for their cell phone. And she does have to call her mom before she stays longer. That's the rule they have. And her friend has seen her talking to this nice woman, even if she wasn't 8. I think most people would have been like, okay, I'm sure this is safe. She tells her friend she's going to be right back, and she goes with her. Kim, again, is not pressuring her, is not creeping her out.
Wait.
Woman, even if she wasn't 8, I think most people would have been like, okay, I'm sure this is safe.
Yeah, even me. Like, I'm a fully grown man. I'm 26. It seems believable, bro. Like, I would... Okay, obviously I wouldn't follow, but I mean, I would have probably offered to help or whatever, yeah.
She tells her friend she's going to be right back, and she goes with her.
That's so sad, man, just to see this poor little girl being misled. Like, oh my God.
Kim, again, is not pressuring her, is not creeping her out. Her voice, her attire, the fact that she lives in the same apartment complex that Sarang's family also lives in, everything points to the idea that this is a safe thing to do. The two walk up to Kim's apartment with no incident. If you watch CCTV footage of them in the elevator, Kim is neither dragging Sarang, neither forcing her to follow. She's incredibly nonchalant. They even briefly share some small talk in the elevator. We don't know what they've said, but it seems very casual. Technically, it's like following a neighbor into their house to fetch something for your parents. That's the energy here. But now Kim is telling the investigators that she doesn't remember getting off with Sarang on the 13th floor. She doesn't remember walking up 2 flights of stairs to her own apartment on the 15th floor for the sole purpose of trying to mislead whoever's watching the CCTV cameras. She doesn't remember then getting the little girl into the apartment where both of her parents are off at work, so she's completely alone with her, and then strangling her with a charging cord, like a phone charging cord, just wrapping it around her neck and strangling her. She then proceeds to take off 8-year-old Sarang's clothes, so to not get blood on them for whatever reason, placing her into the bathtub, grabbing 6 of her mom's kitchen knives to dismember her. She starts first by severing Sarang's right hand pinky finger. Interestingly, the knives were cleaned before being put back in their original spot.
To be in character. She cut off the pinky finger. That again, it's just a cringe ass reason as that. As oh my, it pisses me off, dude. Like, you really did this to that girl for your little play fantasy world.
She has no right hand, pinky finger. Interestingly, the knives were cleaned before being put back in their original spot. She has no memory of that either, though. She also doesn't remember pouring bleach down her whole body to wipe off the blood after Sarang's dismemberment. She poured bleach on her own body to make sure she had none of Sarang's blood on her. She showered in bleach. Again, I do want to mention that this whole murder took place over the span of roughly 2 hours. That's how long it took for Kim to lure Sarang into her house, strangle her, dismember her, then clean up every single drop of blood in that entire house, and then get rid of her remains in just 2 hours. And she doesn't remember anything? Because right after the murder, that same day, when the whole neighborhood is looking for Sarang, she even posts on her social media, question mark, question mark, question mark? What? Question mark? The child apparently disappeared in my neighborhood. Because at this point, it wasn't just the apartment complex looking for this little girl. It seemed like it was the whole town. A few hours later, right before the arrest, she tweets, I'm gonna be away for a while, ... You don't remember any of that? When she's confronted with all of this information, her parents shut her up and state it's not that she doesn't remember, it's the fact that she is not responsible for anything she has done or said because she has schizophrenia and DID. She is insane.
Oh, so parents are in the room with her?
The parents decide that they're gonna have the lawyer.
It's just a given. As frustrating as it is, it's just so common to make a plea or make an appeal to mental health, to like they just said, schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder. Yeah, it's just so annoying.
Lawyers plead insanity.
Oh.
And there we go.
She said it. Pleading insanity.
Parents decide that they're gonna have the lawyers plead insanity.
Oh.
And the parents are very supportive of their daughter. I don't know if I want to say supportive, but they're very protective of their daughter. They're not good people, the parents.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're not good people. And now they're staunchly arguing my child is innocent by reason of insanity, not guilty by reason of insanity because she has schizophrenia and DID.
Oh, the parents are rich doctors?
Yes.
The dad is, and they're the one that hired 12 lawyers for her.
Yes, but there's going to be another defendant that also hires 12. Like, they all hire a bunch of attorneys. I'm talking, these attorneys aren't even just the best. They used to be judges. They used to be prosecutors. They know the system in and out. These people are experienced and they have connections.
Money, man. What money can get you in this world. When you're at a certain point of wealth, the world is like, you're just in creative mode in Minecraft. You do whatever the fuck you want.
family are just very wealthy.
Very wealthy. I know that Kim's dad is a doctor. Some sources state that Kim's mom is also a doctor, or she's in the medical field, but I don't know what kind of doctors they are. I mean, doctors in Korea, they do well.
Yeah.
Kim just bluntly states now, there's another me inside of me. What? This girl is claiming that she has DID and schizophrenia. Kim is claiming that she has two alters, A and J. A strangled the victim's neck and J dismembered the corpse. She states, that day I heard hallucinations, so I went outside and was watching the kids.
Bullshit.
Just random kids at the playground. And in the midst of my hallucinations, I saw the kid harassing a cat, hurting a cat on the playground. And I got angry seeing that because I have a cat myself. And the hallucinations told me to do it. I took her home and I committed the crime. Or at least my alter did. I'm rolling my eyes because it's ridiculous. She further claims that she constantly hears a ringing in her ear, which actually is a very real condition called tinnitus, I believe, where one hears ringing or slight buzzing in one or both of their ears. It could be caused by a whole range of issues: hearing loss, whiplash, head injuries, too much earwax. There is no link to tinnitus and schizophrenia, at least not that I could find. I will say there is a link, interestingly, between tinnitus and anxiety and depression, though. But none to schizophrenia. Not that it matters, because even if she is schizophrenic, that is not a link to cold-blooded murder. Most people that suffer from schizophrenia or DID do not commit violent crimes. But because that's the defense's claim, now both parties, the defense and the prosecutors, they got to bring psychologists in to see if she was in fact not in her right mind. It's not enough to be schizophrenic and to have DID. You have to prove that you were in a state of psychosis during the murder. The psychiatrists go in.
It wouldn't surprise me if these rich ass parents were able to buy off some psychologists to come in and bullshit their exam.
And they start reviewing all of Kim's records. Kim actually does have a psychiatric record. Even just last year before the murder, Kim was seeing a psychiatrist because she admitted to her art teacher that she wanted to strangle a cat, maybe even hinted that she had. She gets reported, and the psychiatrist writes in her notes, patient states, it's not that the violence comes out of me, but I think there is a lot of violence inside of me. I thought I should strangle a cat once, and I watch a ton of gory, cruel movies. Patient also states very bluntly, it's better, I think, that 2/3 of the human population disappears. I think it's better for humanity to survive in smaller numbers. Just remove the bottom layer. It would be the best. Some classmates indicate that Kim has this strong air.
She was just edgy.
Her dad's a doctor, and they drive around in these expensive cars. And her psychiatrists also worry that she's got some antisocial tendencies. You know, she doesn't make a lot of friends. One of her favorite pastimes is to just sit at the neighborhood playground watching little kids run around. It's a slightly alarming thing to do. She often tells her doctor that she's depressed, struggling, and wants to end it all. She said she lies down at home all the time. Sometimes she draws, sometimes she reads, but a lot of times she doesn't have the energy for anything. Except maybe punching her bed or ripping at her dolls, okay? She has a lot of built up anger, resentment just boiling inside of her. In South Korea, every year, they do an emotional behavior test for all students in schools. This is very interesting, but it's supposed to be an early intervention measure. I don't know how well it's implemented or executed, but the purpose would be to identify the students who are at risk of mental health issues and provide early help. According to Kim's reports, she scored higher than normal on the self-exit score, meaning she was actually placed in the group of concern for her school. Kids that might need intervention, which is another reason I think she had to undergo therapy. Now, Kim wasn't actually in school at the time of the murder.
I mean, I haven't heard anything that actually points to DID or schizophrenia. What Stephanie gave was examples of her being a little troubled, wanting to abuse cats, and then wanting to self-exit. Nothing points to DID or anything.
Even though she's 16. So I'm not sure if that test is
So
from
yes, edgy and troubled, yeah. But dissociative identity disorder, nah.
year before, or wasn't actually in school at the time of the murder, even though she's 16. So I'm not sure if that test is from a year before or right before she dropped out, but she drops out of high school, which is not that common in South Korea, especially for the daughter of a doctor. They even asked her why, and she bluntly tells the authorities, there's nothing more to learn at school. But back then, when she was in school, she does have a very unapproachable attitude. Her teachers state she's really smart. I will say that. She has an IQ of 140 and typically does really well for herself in terms of grades. Always on top of her class.
140,
Yeah.
She's a
smart.
genius.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's in the gifted education.
Wait. 140 IQ. Let me see. That's actually insane. An IQ score of 140 is considered to be in the very superior intelligence category, according to older IQ classification systems. It suggests a person has a significantly higher intellectual ability than the average person. Wow. Is there like an image that we can maybe see? Okay, so here's like a graph. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so she's on the opposite, or like the right side of the bell curve. So 100 IQ is about average. 140 would put her right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's a little small. But yeah, she's like, wow. That's actually insane. Now, if only she used that intelligence for good. But yeah, instead she just like killed someone. So yeah, you're not really smart in my book if that's what you're doing. Fucking idiot.
Education, always on top of her class.
140, you
Yeah,
said? She's a
smart.
genius.
Yeah. She's in the gifted education programs for math and science.
Not a genius to
One of the
me.
comments left by her teacher on the reports reads, makes efforts to independently solve problems and tasks, which is pretty good for a 16-year-old. But she's what you would call a smartass. Yeah, they said she's a smartass. She would ask questions in class, which is great, yes. But a lot of the times, they had nothing to do with the subject matter. She was so persisting. That was what her teacher said about her. It's almost like she wants to interrogate her teachers when she asks questions. She doesn't want to learn. She wants to interrogate them. Classmates remember her being called a prodigy growing up. She learned how to read very quickly when she was very, very young, before the average reading age. She was also very interested in medicine and anatomy. She would just carry around medical books and tell everyone she's going to be a doctor just like her dad. But there does seem to be some trouble at home with her dad. One time when classmates said, once Kim came to class with this eye patch, and like a pirate's eye patch. Multiple days had passed and everyone thought it was so strange, so they asked her, what's wrong with your eye? She lifted up. The entire whites of her eyes were bloody. Clearly she was injured. She said, my dad hit me because I missed a single day of hagwon, which is after school tutoring. She's claiming her dad punched her in the face. It was widely agreed upon that, yes, Kim is smart, but she uses all of her smarts to be calculating and persistent more than anything. The type of person that uses all their brain capacity for bad. That's just the feeling that everyone got from her even before the crime. Kim also liked to draw. She had a ton of drawings that she would post online. So the authorities and psychologists had to analyze all of those. Now, there's not too many public observations of each specific drawing, but I will say that a lot of those drawings have been made public, and right off the bat, you can just tell. Kim likes to draw very, very dark things. Almost all of her drawings center around...
Bro, could you... Okay, I was gonna start laughing. Like, I'm just imagining fake scenarios, to be honest. So I just kind of... Something to laugh at. What if she was obsessed with yaoi? Could you imagine that? Like what if we just like saw men fucking tying up each other and shit? Like that's what they found in her notebook.
On cannibal, you can just tell.
Sorry. Anyway, whatever. But still, I mean, this is just... She was into like dominating men or something. Feminine looking men.
Kim likes to draw very, very dark things. Almost all of her drawings center around cannibalism, harm, violence, gore, weapons, death, just dark stuff. She has one drawing of a person sitting at this dinner table with this plate of food in front of them. There's a wine glass on the table, and the whole drawing is in this light blue shaded color, except the food, except the liquid in the wine glass. They're the only ones in color, and they're both drawn in this dark, deep shade of red. I'm gonna be blunt. I think the person is being forced to eat human flesh and drink human blood. That's what this drawing looks like. The person in the drawing is holding the knife, but also trying to not gag, and their other hand is covering their mouth like they're gonna throw up everywhere, which is very interesting because remember, Kim's roleplay character was PJ, and PJ was forced to eat human flesh by Ophelia. Do you remember that? So can we assume that this is Kim drawing Kim? Is this a depiction of PJ? How closely does she feel with the person that she's drawing? It's just very interesting, her roleplay drawings. In another drawing, there's just a decapitated head on a plate. Half the scalp has been peeled off and opened, kind of like a bowl, if you will. Half the head is peeled open, and you just see a brain. It feels like someone is about to grab a spoon and start scooping out the brain and eating it. It's all very gory and done very specific. Some people believe that this picture of the brain being eaten is almost a cry for help from Kim, to almost indicate that she doesn't know what's going on inside of her head. Almost like she wants to crack open her head and see what's going on. Maybe she's got some, a lot of people say that's the analysis that was taken away. Now, it's all very gory.
I don't buy that, to be honest, but yeah, anyway.
But it's done in a very specific, almost anime-inspired drawing style that it doesn't feel initially startling. There are other drawings with just close-ups of people's necks with ligature marks around them. It looks like they had just recently been strangled. Another one of a scared-looking girl that's covered in blood. There's drawings of bloody eyeballs cut in half and thrown onto a plate to be consumed. One art therapist analyzed Kim's drawings and said, the human head is originally quite a symmetrical structure, but if you look at this subject's drawings, they're all different, not symmetrical. Most of them are not. This can be seen as an unstable psychological state of the subject or someone who's not in balance. It could also represent someone who has a very aggressive or threatening tendency.
The drawing of the head is not symmetrical?
There's always something going wrong with the head to make it asymmetrical.
I'm glad that we actually didn't give up on this video. This is actually a super interesting case. Before this, I almost rage quit the video because I was too stupid to understand what was going on. But now that we do understand, yeah, this is crazy. This is one of the craziest cases I've heard of in a little bit.
And overall, most of Kim's drawings, they said that there does seem to be a clear indication of inconsistent psychological states. The emotion of anxiety and overall emotional agitation seems to be very present. Another analysis includes, and I don't know how they got to this, okay, based on the way that each stroke is handled and the contents of the drawings, just an overview of all the drawings, the psychologist said it appears Kim is very self-assertive in her personality. Even her brush strokes, they don't seem hesitant. They don't seem like someone who is erasing and then redoing and contemplating and is unsure of their movements, unsure of their ability to draw. It shows someone who's very self-assured but has somewhat paranoid tendencies.
Whoa.
Another observation is it appears Kim wants to receive attention from others, but there's a clear hesitation and reluctance about it. So there does seem to be some reports that children of that age, when they're around 16 and they draw a lot of these dark things, there might be an inner need to want to receive attention. But also hesitation because maybe the attention that she receives from her parents is not the type of attention she wants.
So basically, chat, she's calling a lot of y'all out. When you were in high school or middle school drawing anime girls or anime boys kissing each other, you just wanted attention, bro. You were troubled. All your yaoi, all your yuri, nah.
Unclear. Hesitation because maybe the attention that she receives from her parents is not the type of attention she wants. It's unclear. Now, ultimately, the psychologist analyzed, there's almost no chance, however, okay, regardless of her drawings, that she actually has DID or schizophrenia. All of her symptoms appear to be someone pretending to have such disorders, but she may or may not have. Now, side note, quick disclaimer here. Her official records show that she may have Asperger's syndrome. This is no longer recognized as an actual disorder, at least in the United States. I'm not sure about South Korea. If I'm not mistaken, the disorder was no longer formally...
That's autism, right? In 2013, experts officially removed Asperger's as a diagnosis when they released the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Oh, the DSM. Or DSM-5, that's what it's called. Interesting. But what exactly is Asperger's? What exactly is that? I just know that I hear it together with autism. Asperger syndrome. What is that? Asperger's syndrome, now considered part of the broader autism spectrum disorder, ASD diagnosis, is characterized by difficulties in social interaction, repetitive behaviors, and specific interests. Oh, okay. Interesting, okay. I didn't know that.
Recognized in the US in 2013, but Kim is diagnosed in 2017. So I don't know if things are just different in South Korea, but in the US, it would have been diagnosed as autism. Which is just a diagnosis that, again, has nothing to do with her crime, just like DID and schizophrenia. It does not make her more or less likely to commit a crime. And like I said, people with such diagnosis are more often than not victims of violent crimes rather than perpetrators. But you get what I'm saying. She's diagnosed with autism. That doesn't mean anything because she wasn't in a state of psychosis. When one pleads insanity, you can't just show proof of any sort of mental health disorder and state that you're insane. You're not insane. You have to quite literally be in a state of not knowing what you're doing. And there is just way too much planning to be involved in this murder to say that I truly don't know what I was doing. I wasn't in my right mind. There's clear meditation, the disguise, the cleanup, the disposal, everything. Even before, during, and after the crime, Kim's got some interesting Google searches. She's searching up juvenile commits murder. Find a way to get rid of blood showing up in luminol test. Duration of blood showing up.
I mean, she just self-reported them with those Google searches. How to clean up blood.
On luminol test. Juvenile commits murder.
She might as well have Googled like how to hide body of 8-year-old girl. What was the girl's name? Sara, I forgot the name.
Find a way during and after the crime. Kim's got some interesting Google searches. She's searching up juvenile commits murder. Find a way to get rid of blood showing up in luminol test. Duration of blood showing up on luminol test. Is it illegal to sprinkle corpse cremation remains in the sea? Busan murder case without a body. She doesn't even live in Busan, so I think she's referencing a former case. She lives in Incheon, which is where the airport is. That's how most people would recognize the city, I think. Butchery, how to make bone powder, cremation, sea burial.
Whoa, this is like long before?
This is an hour or two before and even during. She even searches up very specific elementary schools and their schedules, what time they get off. That does not seem to be someone who is in a state of psychosis.
That's so creepy. She's researching the schedules of elementary schools to see when kids get off. What the hell?
Way she also dismembers Harang's body in the bathtub, putting her organs and fingers separately in a bucket. There's evidence that she cut off the finger first, took out all of Harang's organs, and put them in a bucket of water. so that they don't go
Oh
bad.
my gosh, yeah.
Then she continues to dismember the rest of Sarang's body. Again, that doesn't sound like someone who's in a state of psychosis.
Wait, what happened to the girl's body though?
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
She manages to clean the entire bathroom, getting rid of every drop and speck of blood. And at the end, she stands in the shower herself and pours bleach on her own body to get rid of any blood stains on her. Again, not psychosis. In fact, the crime scene was so clean that the authorities initially suspected that her parents must have been involved. They were like, they must have come home, must have seen what happened, and helped her clean up. There's no way a 16-year-old did this. But her parents have an airtight alibi. There's no way anybody else was in that apartment aside from Kim. Ultimately, you can't just say you're crazy and just get a mental health diagnosis in order to be deemed not guilty by reason of insanity. But apparently, Kim doesn't know this. One cellmate of Kim said, well, this is while they're waiting for the trial. This is while they're doing all the tests. All the psychiatrists are coming in. She's lawyered up. The cellmate said, this girl is weird, very strange. The very first day she came into our cell block, she sat down, joined a group of inmates. She didn't even introduce herself. She didn't ask anybody else for their names. She just sat down, stared at each one and said, ask me questions about my case. Like she knew that her case was famous and she's doing some sort of Q&A. But most of the time they said Kim was just very pissy in jail, as if someone had wronged her, like someone did this to her. Very ogure is the feeling. Ogure in Korean it's a very specific word. Sadness is you're sad. Ogure is sadness due to some sort of injustice typically. Like you didn't do anything wrong and why are they doing this to me? I'm so sad. I'm so upset. It's like, ugh, I just feel pity for myself. One day her cellmate said she comes in practically skipping, which is a change. She's humming, she's singing, she's laughing. And this is after a meeting with her attorney. They said that they'd never seen Kim in such a good mood. What's with the high spirits? Did your lawyer say something? They said if I have a mental illness, I'll get 5 to 10 years. So I have hope again.
Keep her out of society, bro. She's literally scaring the other inmates, the other criminals of people who I'm sure have done other not just as, but just messed up stuff themselves. And she's scaring these people. I have hope again. I might get off in only 5 years.
Wow.
After Kim, again, another disclaimer, this no longer exists. After Kim's Asperger's diagnosis, her parents sent her books on Asperger's syndrome for her to read. And the inmates said that she would just, every day she would read a page and that symptom that she would read up on or that action she would read up on would become her whole personality. It's like she's method acting in prison. She was so creepy that the guards and other inmates that have children, they would hide their photos of their babies around Kim because they're like, I don't want her to remember my kid's face. I don't want her to do anything with my kid. I'm scared.
And the fact that parents gave her a book?
Yeah.
Wow. They know what they're doing too.
Oh, yeah.
The parents gave her a book on Asperger's so that she can basically train that behavior to really play up the part that she's not well to try and get that lesser sentence. Jesus.
One of Kim's doctors said the possibility of mental illness is low. In terms of the legal letter of the law, it would have to just be that she does not know where she was or what she was doing or what would have been the result of her actions, which is not the case here. At one point in jail awaiting trial, she even turns to her cellmate and says, because I'm crazy, I'm innocent, right? Nobody agreed with her. Not after what she did. Not after how she left Sarang's body. 10 hours after Sarang is reported missing, before Kim is arrested that night, the forensics team of the police department, as well as the firefighters, are gathered up on the rooftop. Nobody's saying anything. It's pretty clear nothing is going as planned, because just a few hours ago, they're like, this is good. She's somewhere in the building. But now it's not looking good. The rooftop is not a pleasant space. It's not a rooftop bar or a lounge area or a communal area. It's just a roof with all the air conditioning units and this platform. Imagine a roof as a rectangle. In the center of this rectangle, there's a square. It's a platform. But in order to get to the top of that square, you have to walk up a flight of stairs and then climb up this 10-foot vertical ladder. And on top of this square in the middle of the roof, there's just a water tank.
So it's a very tall platform for a water tank.
Yes, and the only thing on there is a water tank. There would be no reason for anyone else to be up there. Firefighters and forensics teams, they're staring at this platform. And Sarang's family, they're not allowed on the rooftop, but they can just sense, they said that they could just sense their lives were never going to be the same. They might have had hope, but when they see these 4 forensic team vehicles arrive at the scene, they said they were starting to lose everything. They just had this terrible feeling. They were screaming at the police, please, can you just tell me what's going on if we can't go up? And they said that they knew it was wrong when nobody would say anything and nobody could even hold their eye contact. So they're like, what's going on in this roof? The firefighters start slowly climbing up the platform, which, side note, even for some of the forensic teams, climbing up this
Let me guess, they're going to find the little 8-year-old girl's body in one of those water towers.
very straight vertical ladder. Even if they were to fall off, they're not going to fall off the roof. It's not that dangerous, but it's just creepy. It's scary. They said it was hard, and it's crazy to think that someone is coming up here by themselves willingly. So they climb all the way up, and right next to the ladder on top are 2 white bags. 2 of them. Nothing alarming about the bags from the
Covered
outside.
in
There's no blood,
red,
no dirt.
dude.
Clean 2 white bags that are filled with stuff. But then you look to the left of those bags. Right next to it is Harang's diary that she carries to school every single day. It's placed right next to the white bag. And this is so weird. We don't have an explanation for this. You know when you're just little, you pick out what outfit you're gonna wear to school the next day and you almost lay it out like you're wearing it. So you lay out the t-shirt flat on the bed and then the jeans flat on the bed, like a little person, right? That's how Harang's clothes are laid out.
That is crazy.
There's no reasoning for it either.
That's some really sick behavior.
Yes.
It's almost like a sign, a signal of something.
No blood, just her clothes are laid out. So the forensics teams reach over, open up the white bags, and they find the dismembered remains of 8-year-old Harang. Obviously, the grief of finding her little body is high, but these teams are trained to observe and take the emotions out of it until later. And they notice something fascinating. On the white bag that the remains were placed in, again, not a single drop of blood. This is the cleanest body disposal that they had ever seen. There's blood inside the body. But on the outside, how did they get the remains in without getting any blood? It's just done like a professional hit.
And when you say dismembered body, what do you mean?
A lot of pieces.
Like big chunky chunks?
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of effort.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
6 knives were used and a lot of blood. Yeah.
That's
and
not psychosis, dude. I hope she does not get that lesser sentence because of psychosis, because she was clearly in the right state of mind. This was meticulous.
The fact that there's no blood on the outside of the bags, considering how many separate pieces of body parts were in the bags, is just a lot. Now, the second thing that the forensic teams notice is the full body of the little girl is not in this bag. There are parts of her that are missing. Her organs, some of them, and interestingly, her right hand pinky is missing. The police turn to each other and they say, search the food waste bins now. Now, there's a lot of context needed here. The first being, we mentioned earlier that the entire apartment for the Kims was spotless. Not even a single drop of blood is found, which means there's no way that there are any human remains left hiding inside that apartment, which means the only other place that there could be human remains is the food waste bins of this apartment complex. So in the US, there's usually 2 trash chutes in apartment buildings, regular trash and recyclables. There's a bit of an honor system here. I believe you sort your trash yourself. You throw it into the according bins that's shared with other residents of your apartment complex. Those massive bins or dumpsters then get picked up by the corresponding waste management teams. Regular trash, I'm sure, usually ends up getting burned or in the landfills. Recycling bin typically ends up hopefully in a recycling facility, but all of it is pretty optional for the residents. You know, there's no law that you have to sort your trash like that. You could just throw all your trash, including your recyclables, into the general trash. It's morally not great, but legally, nothing's gonna happen to you. In South Korea, that is not the case. All the trash has to be sorted by each citizen. There's rule books. General waste includes all non-recyclables, tissues, sanitary pads, mixed material, and packaging. You have to purchase specific waste bags at supermarkets for all in different sizes and different colors based on the district you're in. The districts have their own labeling.
I kind of like that though. Yeah, I don't know. Take care of your environment.
For all in different sizes and different colors based on the district you're in. The districts have their own labeling. Then you can also throw into general waste, food waste that can't be digested by animals. So you're talking shells, really thick bones, certain vegetable peels that they can't compost and feed livestock. Now, those are sorted separately. Then you have food waste that can be turned into compost for animals. Then you have recyclables, oversized waste like furniture and appliances. They have special waste, electronics, light bulbs, batteries. Those are all separate. The trash then gets sorted once more by waste management. And because South Korea's cameras near trash bins are so high, if you are resident number 365 out of 1,000 residents from that apartment building and you throw a recyclable into the general waste bin, you're gonna get a text message and you're gonna get a fine.
Damn, I didn't know they were that strict over there. Jesus.
I know it's you. Even if there's no identifying features in that waste bag, there's no address, there's no letter mail that you accidentally slipped in there, they're gonna find you. Like, we have family friends who have a place in South Korea and they'll get text messages while they're in America and they're like, hey, you didn't sort your trash well, so we're gonna fine you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Now, if you were to
savage.
put human organs
That's
into the
savage,
general
bro.
waste bin, they're going to track it to you. They track a recyclable water bottle in there to you and they fine you. They're going to track it to you. The only reasonable place to put it in would be to chop it up to make it appear like compostable food waste, animal liver, stuff like that, and throw it into the food waste bins. Those are not as heavily regulated because you're not going through each one.
You can't tell either.
Yeah, they're usually just scanned to make sure there's no metals and plastics in there and then turned into animal feed.
Wow.
The forensic teams were able to find Sarang's organs in the food waste bins. Whoa. Yeah, I guess she did not cut them up, so they were just like globs of human.
Oh my God.
It just seemed like Kim had gutted her like an animal for consumption. When they run through the CCTV cameras again, they see a teenager, Kim, wearing her pajamas, appearing as if she'd been rolling around in bed all day, bringing down a baggie of food waste and placing it in the bin. Yeah. I don't know how Kim left her apartment the day of the murder. I don't know if she took the stairs, but she gets out of her building. She's wearing a disguise. Then she gets out on floor 13 with Sarang. There's no CCTV cameras in the hallways or the stairwells. She takes the stairs up to the 15th floor with Sarang. Kills her, takes her dismembered remains, takes the stairs to the 16th floor, again, no cameras, disposes of her body parts, goes back to the 15th floor, changes into pajamas, and walks out and gets on the elevator like she's just throwing out some food waste.
Wait, didn't you say she brought a finger
Like,
to...
none of this spells out like that she's in a psychosis, that she's in psychosis. It's actually impressive, as fucked as it is to say. It's like she went up through the body in the water tower, comes back down, changes into pajama. That's like high level thinking. She was thinking about how she's perceived by people she might run into in the apartment complex. So she changed into pajamas with the bag so that it looks like, oh, I'm just a girl, like going out to take out some trash. I'm sleepy. Like, it looks really normal. I wouldn't bat an eye if I walked by that on my way up to my apartment. I would not even look twice at the girl.
Oh, we're gonna get there. So she throws out some of the organs into the food waste, and she even texts her mom before that. She texts her mom, I'm taking out the food waste. I deserve a bonus. When investigators piece together Sarang's remains, they realize that there are still a few pieces missing, most notably her lungs and her right pinky finger. The police trace Kim's full day from disposing of Sarang's body parts
And that's
on the
what she
rooftop
gave
at
as a
3 p.m.
gift.
The murder took place around 12:50 p.m., so truly 2 hours-ish.
For the role-playing
Till
game.
her arrest, that was around midnight that same night. There's about 9 hours of where did she take the pinky and lungs for the 9 hours that are unaccounted for? Did she hide them somewhere? Did she dispose of them somewhere? Where the hell are they? A friend of Kim's comes forward. She told me that she was going to meet up with a Twitter friend. I don't know, an online friend that she met on Twitter. I don't know. They were going to grab drinks in the city. So with
The
that,
friend's about to come in and drop the bombshell.
investigators track Kim's movements. She gets on a subway, goes all the way from Incheon, South Korea, which is where the main airport is, down to Hongdae in the city of Seoul. It's about a 40-minute subway ride. When authorities watch her through CCTV cameras getting off at around 5:50 p.m., she meets up with somebody. And what is she carrying? What is that? She's carrying a small little shopping bag, like a gift bag. On camera, she hands it over to the Twitter friend, who accepts it. And inside was Sarang's lungs, pieces of her flesh, and her right pinky finger. You know those skincare dropper bottles? Like you squeeze the top and then you apply it. The finger was placed in a glass dropper bottle in liquid.
Oh my gosh.
The friend takes the gift and they link arms and start walking. The two of them then go on to order fried chicken bites and they walk around swinging around this gift bag with no care in the world that a little 8-year-old girl's body parts are in that bag. So now the next...
Mind you, remember the context behind all of this that was described at the beginning of the video. A fantasy role-playing world. RP, dude.
Question is, who the hell is this Twitter friend? And does she know what's in the bag? And does she know that just a few hours ago, Kim was dismembering a little 8-year-old girl in her bathroom?
Yeah.
The Twitter friend is 18-year-old Park. And Park...
I thought she would... It's funny now. It's like looking back. I thought this was the girl that did the killing at the beginning. I thought, yeah.
Had a thing for hands. I mean, at first is 18-year-old Park. And Park always had a thing for hands. I mean, at first glance, Park is a very ordinary girl. She graduated high school, but she has to retake the college entrance exam. So she's apparently studying for that. Her personality is someone describes her as, she's always calm, quiet, no laughing, but she's also not wild, but also not depressed and crying. Just like very in between. I don't know, just no feeling. Is that how I should say that? It's very clear that her parents were strict. Her mom is an elementary school teacher, and her dad is a higher up at a big corporation, they said. Very wealthy.
Another wealthy girl.
Yes,
So they're all rich. So the murderer herself, and then the other cringe friend that had a thing for fingers and stuff like that was also in a rich family.
in Songpagu in Gangnam, which is very expensive.
So two very wealthy girl.
Yes. They said Park is weird. I've never seen her get emotional or even raise her voice, not even once. She's just very bland, well-mannered, polite. The only extraordinary thing about Park is, like I said, her family's wealthy, very wealthy. Other than that, nothing stands out. Well, one of her former classmates in high school said, she's really sweet, very quiet, always either sleeping or on her phone, nothing else. But sometimes she would caress your hand while talking. If you're telling her about your weekend very naturally, slowly, she'll grab your hand and start stroking your fingers while you're talking and just interrupt you. You have very pretty hands. The classmate said, for sure, it seemed like she had some kind of hand fetish. But having a hand fetish is not something abnormal or something that would indicate criminality in somebody. So what does this very normal girl that has nothing to do with Kim and the gruesome murder of an 8-year-old Sarang, how are they connected? I mean, if she has this strong liking for hands, could it be possible that she was purchasing the finger from Kim?
Yeah, in the role play world, because I mean they were both mafia members. Like, hey, bring me fingers and stuff like that as a, you know, for information, for intel on our mafia as the opposing gang.
Going on? Because Park is kind of the wild card. Kim, from the beginning of the investigation, it's very clear that Kim's got a lot of plans and none of them are good. It is believed that Kim strangled multiple cats during her childhood. She stated she thought about it, but people believe she did. There's stories that she even fully dismembered and pulled apart a bird on one occasion, which is wild considering earlier she tried to argue that she was having that hallucination and killed Sarang because she saw Sarang harming a cat.
Yeah.
Which I don't even believe, first of all. And second of all, it's like, you've been accused of killing cats and birds.
The projection is crazy. Like, I actually did this to that baby girl because she was strangling a cat, even though she, what's her name? Shit, what was her name again? The murderer's name, what was her name again? Kim. Kim was the one with the history of literally strangling cats and even birds.
You can't really stay on this moral high ground of animal abuse is bad. Anyway, Kim constantly lurks on the character communities, frequently creating all sorts of characters. One time she's a teenage girl that self-exited, and I guess she's telling grim stories on social media now. Other times she's an unemployed alcoholic in her 30s or a mafia henchman that's unhinged. Every character that Kim develops seems to only escalate in their dark background lore. And even the types of chat rooms that she starts joining, apparently they're just getting more and more gory and violent. Maybe the crime is her way of living out her fantasies. Her interests in life clearly skew darker. Classmates of Kim said, that girl liked anything that had to do with cannibalism. She would quite literally eat it up. Anything bizarre, gory, that freaks other people out, dismemberment stories, she's always reading them. She even joked about how much she loves the American TV show Hannibal, about a brilliant psychiatrist, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, who happens to be a serial killer and a serial cannibal on the side. He's being hunted down by an equally brilliant FBI profiler, Will Graham, who happens to be Dr. Lecter's patient. So the FBI agent hunting down the serial killer needs therapy, and his therapist is the very serial killer that he's hunting, and because his therapist is sick and twisted, he starts playing mind games with Will, even attempting to slowly make this FBI agent insane. She's obsessed with that show. Now, one fascinating part of the show Hannibal is that all the cannibalistic scenes, all the human flesh is prepared by the serial killer, Hannibal himself, but he prepares his meals like he's Gordon Ramsay, like a Michelin-starred chef, listening to classical music, spending hours crafting the perfect taste profile. It's a visual experience. The concept of cannibalism mixed with the highly meticulous, delicate culinary art is good. But Kim would write, I really crave cannibalism after watching that show. I keep trying to download more episodes of Hannibal. It's an American drama where he cooks with dismembered bodies and even shares them with acquaintances. Kim had met Park, or should I say, Ophelia, online 2 months before the murder. And instantly, Kim is attracted to Park's tweets and messages about her fascination with hands. Park was sending anybody on these character chat rooms just videos of people massaging hands sensually, slowly, writing messages like, someday I want to touch your fingers like this too. This video might actually be too much for our kids. Yeah, they were, I don't know. It's just a lot.
They had pretend kids too, Jesus Christ.
Now, later, the authorities ask Park about the gift that she received because it's such an odd part of the body to be missing, the right hand pinky. And they also ask Kim, and Kim says, I thought the fingers were pretty. I thought it'd make a really good gift. Why did you also bring a knife when you went to meet with Park? Oh, to eat with it.
Wait, there's a knife in the bag too?
She brought a knife separately, not in the bag. But inside the bag, there's thigh flesh, there's lungs, and the finger. So
She's trying to go eat.
the thighs and the lungs. Because remember, Kim's
she's trying to reenact the movies that she'd watch.
character was forced to eat lungs,
Trying to go eat.
the thighs and the lungs. Because remember, Kim's character was forced to eat lungs, and they developed a weird craving for it. Ophelia's right hand was chopped off, so she gets a right severed pinky.
Oh, so Kim's character, aka PJ, in the in the make-believe world, was forced to eat human body parts. And then the other girl's nickname, which was
Ophelia's right hand
Ophelia lost her right hand, aka the chubby girl. She lost her right hand in that make-believe world. So she was, I guess, obsessed with hands, and so she wanted Kim to bring a pinky finger of a right hand from the right hand of the 8-year-old.
hand was chopped off, so she gets a right severed pinky.
Right. So they're still like role playing more or less before all of this.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say they're role playing because I wonder if it almost gives the connotation that they're insane. But I think they want to bring role playing to the real world.
Yeah, they're really like sick and twisted.
Yeah, they want to make it real.
I agree with
after the
Stephanie,
murder,
to be
Kim brings
honest.
Park fingers and human flesh to consume together as a gift. But again, why would anyone take mutilated organs and corpse pieces as a gift? Park is brought in and she looks at the investigators in this creepy interrogation room and she tells them about the gift bag she received and how she just thought it was a gift from an online friend, but she never even looked inside. In fact, she said she didn't even know there were body parts in there until just now.
What?
What do you mean, okay? She said, I just took it home and I got rid of it the next day without ever checking what's in the bag. I threw it away because it was a weekday and I was scared that my mom would find it and realize that I was out hanging with friends. And I just took it and threw it out without even opening it. That does not even remotely make sense as something that somebody would do. Maybe you throw out the packaging, but you're gonna at least look. You're gonna at least keep the gift and act like, oh, what are you talking about, Mom? I've always had this. When the authorities confront her with that, she changes her mind and she says, okay, yes, I did open the bag, but I felt like you would think I'm genuinely guilty if I told you that. Let me tell you what really happened. What really happened was, she states, she was role playing with Kim. Kim told her she was gonna bring her some organs in the role play. She opens up the bag thinking, they look like organs. Yeah, they do, but they can't obviously be organs. That's insane. So she's like, they're props. Park is like, I thought they were props. Really, really good props like you use in the movies. Okay, then where are these really good high quality props now? And Park says, I threw them away the next morning. When I woke up, I opened the shopping bag and I still thought it was a prop and I wanted to get rid of it and I was about to throw it away. But I thought it looked so real that I was scared it would shock the waste management teams. I just thought if I threw it away, even though it is a prop, I felt like they would still freak out. I'm not an expert, but I touched it and it looked like it was made out of some sort of high quality protein. I thought the protein is food waste, so I just cut the lungs and fingers into really small pieces, put them into a plastic bag and threw them out with the food waste. She also...
I don't believe that. I don't. Even young girls, like, we all know what what actual limbs look and feel like. Because, I mean, we literally have our own. So it's like, it's just, no. I don't care how realistic the prop is. You can tell when it's real.
States that she put on plastic gloves and used kitchen scissors to finally chop up the pieces of the finger to throw them into the food waste as to not alarm them. But the authorities know, first of all, there's no prop that looks that real, which even if there is, once you start touching it and you start finally chopping it, dicing it, mincing it up, you're going to have a clear idea that this is not a prop. Before Kim is even arrested, both Kim and Park had deleted their conversations on social media networks. They had deleted their Kakao messages, which is like WhatsApp of South Korea, their Twitter DMs, all deleted before Kim's arrest in the beginning. So it's like they're clearly trying to delete something. The police in South Korea were able to reach out to the US Justice Department, who reached out to Twitter to recover some of those deleted messages. And these are just things that they've been able to get back and have also been made public. And some of these phone call contents were later revealed by Kim, but just keep in mind, at the time, she doesn't reveal them. So there's a phone call placed between Kim and Park from 10:56 a.m. to 11:07 on the day of the murder. We don't know what they talked about.
How long was the call?
From 10:56 to 11:07.
So that's like 20 minutes?
Yeah, not that long. Maybe they talked about the weather. Maybe they talked about murdering someone. We don't know. Earlier that week, Kim texted Park, I'm planning to commit a crime this week and I'll meet you with your favorites. Fingers and lungs, right? Park text, be sure to check the CCTV cameras around the crime scene. Send me a picture of your disguise so I know you're not exposing yourself. Whoa. Park claims again she was just role-playing. The morning of the murder, sure enough, Kim sends Park a picture of herself wearing the disguise. Her mom's oversized clothes, pantsuit, sunglasses, carrying a suitcase. She sends the selfie with the text message. I'm going hunting, Miss Park. You're dressed very pretty, quite flashy. The little kids' playground is visible from my apartment. Then one of them is gonna die? Like she literally does a killing, spells it out. Like, you know how you go, she spells it out. Yeah, one of them is gonna today. What time does elementary school finish again? Remember, Park's mom is an elementary school teacher. So she tells Kim, lunch starts at 12. The lower grades probably go straight home after eating. Later, Kim texts Park.
Oh, wow. So it's like she had inside information almost that gave her the information of, when elementary schools get out.
One. The situation was good. I brought her home saying she could use
to get a victim.
My phone. Later, Kim texts Park. I caught one. The situation was good. I brought her home saying she could use my phone. Did you check the CCTV footage? Yeah, I checked. I haven't been caught. Is she still alive? She's still alive, but I'm gonna wrap a cord around her neck. We know that little Sarang followed Kim to her apartment around...
That part right there gives it away, no? Because apparently they're both role-playing, right? They're both pretending. She literally said in these text messages, in this chat room, I'm going to use a wire to strangle her. And she literally did that in real life. Doesn't that just defeat everything? Like, you're not just role-playing anymore. You did it. Because like when she used the cord to kill the girl, Kim's friend wasn't there. It's not like they were FaceTiming to even still possibly have an argument that they're role playing. No, she did this on her own accord, on her own time. Nobody watching her, no other role playing buddies with her. She just did that.
1 p.m. and there's a series of phone calls placed between the two during that time frame that Sarang is in Kim's apartment and before her body is disposed of. One call at 1 p.m., 1:37 p.m., 1:38 p.m. We don't know the exact details of these 3 calls, but we do know at 2:20 p.m. there's a phone call placed from Kim to Park where Kim tells her, "I cleaned up the body. Let's meet up after I clean up the restroom." Soon, a string of text messages gets sent from Kim to Park. "Please save me. There's a dead person in front of my eyes. Ugh, there's so much blood. It's terrible. Should I bring you human organs, Park? Just fingers or lungs would be good." Then one last call before Kim disposes of Sarang's body on the rooftop at 2:52 p.m., where apparently Kim asks Park to meet. She says, "Let's meet. I'll give you something as a gift." Then if we follow the security cameras and the clear timeline, we know that the 2 girls meet up in Hongdae. The exchanging of the gift happens. When both of them part ways at 6 p.m.-ish, they get back from their outing. Kim texts again, "Are your fingers pretty?" Because she gifted it to Park. "It's pretty. Good job." Then around 8 p.m., it seems that the news of Sarang going missing and the police search is stressing them out, especially Park, the one that received the fingers. She texts Kim, "There would have been CCTV of you meeting me and giving me the gift. Let's say it was cookies in the bag." A little while after that, Kim tells Park that her mom called to let her know that the police are looking for Kim. Kim is like, "I'm about to go down. She's about to get arrested." When Kim tells Park that, Park responds, "Am I going to get involved in this? What's going to happen to me? I'm so anxious I could die. I'm throwing up. I guarantee to keep you out of it. You will not have a criminal record." Park conveniently responds, "I really like you. Do you believe me?" "I believe you. I'll buy you flowers one day, Park." Then Kim sends another message. "For now, I'm stating that I have mental issues."
This is
Ooh. Again, okay. First, very cringe. Like they're actually texting like lovers right now. "I'll buy you flowers someday." But right there, she literally says it. "I'm gonna state I have mental issues." Is that not a self-report right there? Like I'm just gonna pretend this. Like
crazy.
All these text messages have been very clearly proving that Park indeed knew what was going on, and she indeed was not fazed at all by the fact that Kim killed a little girl, because in one of the last text messages Park sends Kim, she writes, "I think it's going to be a pity that I can't see you." So once the police uncover these messages and texts, they realize, okay, clearly both these girls are involved. They both know way more than what they're saying. Kim just kept arguing that she has fake memories that were planted inside her brain. She's got all these mental health disorders she doesn't remember. She felt like she was in a dream. She was killing the cat. But then she states for Park did not know those were real organs. She's sticking by that. She's like, Park had nothing to do with this. How does that even make sense? How could she have not known? It feels like Kim is covering for Park. But it's so curious, isn't it? A 16-year-old girl from Incheon, an 18-year-old girl from Seoul, they've only met each other a few times in person, have only been online friends for a month or two. It's not like they're best friends. Why on earth would Kim cover for Park? Would there be a reason? Does Park have something on Kim? Police go through more data, more accounts, and they find Kim messaging a friend of hers about an incident recently between her and Park, and how they met up, went into a dark alleyway, and started making out 10 days before the murder. The police state that they were shocked to find out.
So the relationship's real. It might have started through the RP, but I guess it developed into something.
That Kim making out 10 days before the murder. The police state that they were shocked to find out that Kim and Park were, quote, lovers. Netizens start going crazy when this new development breaks. They start commenting, what kind of third-rate, low-level K-drama soap opera plot is this? We don't care if they're lovers or not, give them the death penalty. But most netizens felt a sense of unease during this time. They said it feels just like a sick onion. The more we peel, the more and more we're uncovering. What else are we going to discover? Side note, this seems to be a pattern for Kim. Another witness comes forward to authorities to state that she was actually chatting with a guy that she met on one of these role-playing communities. And she really liked the guy. They're getting along so well, she thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll meet up with them in person. They arranged to meet up at a very public cafe, but when she gets there, it's not a guy, it's Kim. Which, fine, I mean, the two of them had so much in common for a reason. There's no reason that they can't be friends, right? They grab a coffee, and since that day forward, for the next however long, Kim would call her every single day before school, right after school. If she didn't pick up, Kim would bombard her with angry, cursing messages, and when she ignored those, Kim would call back apologizing and crying. It would just be 25 different emotions back to back. One time she even came to the girl's house without notice or even being invited. The girl's parents put Kim back on a bus and sent her home. She was very possessive.
Jesus Christ.
Another time she was hanging out with another friend of hers when they noticed, wait, something...
That kind of sounds like BPD, to be honest.
Another time she was hanging out with another friend of hers when they noticed, wait, something just moved behind you. She goes back behind the display stand in the cafe, looks, and Kim is crouching behind and hiding. It was alarming. Just the emotional mood swings were a lot. In one single text message, Kim would say things like, "How are you doing, baby?" But also, "I want to bang my head on a piece of wood and die because you're not responding." For the investigators, yes, all of this is new information, but they need to use it to their advantage. So they think, we're going to drive a wedge between them two. Because as of right now, Kim is stating she has mental disorders that impair her understanding from right and wrong, which is an unbelievable defense. However, she comes from a wealthy family. In most countries, money can buy you innocence, or at least it can buy you less time. Add to the fact that she's a minor.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Chatter, you have a good point. Tall Hobbit 17. Let's not attach any more mental illnesses to these girls. The mental health community doesn't want them. No, yeah. Also, yeah, I do this kind of sometimes too, where like I'll ascribe some mental illnesses, almost like insulting them, which is like maybe not the best behavior from me, but yeah, my point is these girls are just not right, dude. They're fucking weird.
In most countries, impair her understanding from right and wrong, which is an unbelievable defense. However, she comes from a wealthy family. In most countries, money can buy you innocence, or at least it can buy you less time. Add to the fact that she's a minor in South Korea with crazy juvenile sentencing protection laws. The investigators need a slam dunk. As for Park, she's not a juvenile. She's 18.
Yeah. Plus it's kind of doing these girls a favor, you know? It's like it's almost like saying, yeah, that they actually are just ill, like out of like something in their head was out of their control. But no, like these girls clearly knew what they were doing. There's no mental illness involved. They were just crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
When the crazy juvenile sentencing protection laws, the investigators need a slam dunk. As for Park, she's not a juvenile. She's 18 when the crime took place, but she's arguing that it's role play. They don't even have the pieces missing in their possession to try to see if it could be even considered a prop, right? It could technically be argued that she was in character during all of that and she had nothing to do with any of this. Again, a very unbelievable defense, but Park also comes from a wealthy family. So the best way to proceed is when you have two perpetrators that turn on each other.
Because they almost sounds like they could get away with this.
Yes, which is what they do. The interrogator sits down with Kim. "We just talked to your friend Park. She's not involved in any of this." "Oh yeah, we know. She told us she's not." She said, "I don't know why I was hanging out with such a trash."
If any of these girls gets off scotch-free, I'm gonna go crazy.
For a reason, she must be trash. Yeah, she told us the time that she spent with you was quite unpleasant, and it just made her uncomfortable.
So they shit talk.
By the way, just a little bit of a time update. There's around 16 minutes left on this video, so we're almost done.
Told us the time that she spent with you was quite unpleasant, and it just made her uncomfortable.
So they shit talk each other to them.
The interrogator said right when those words came out, Kim's entire face expression changed. "That girl has no reason to speak so badly of me. She should pay for her crimes too. Did you know that Park knew about the murders and actually conspired with me?" Those were her words. What do you mean? How could she ever really think that finger is a prop? Do you really believe that? There's no way that she did that. Okay, she knew they were real body parts. And with that, the two girls, quote, lovers, they turn on each other. Kim's new story is that they were playing the murder game, that Park is the mafia boss, because that's what her character is, and Kim is a henchman, and the two were going to throw a Hannibal-themed human flesh party, but they needed to acquire the flesh first, and Park was the one giving her instructions. She said Park ordered it, and because I'm mentally ill, I felt a compulsion to listen to whatever Park told me to do, because I was scared of Park. Yeah, she said if Kim ever wanted to back out, Park would instigate her, push her, and say things like, "If killing people is nothing to you, if you kill someone, give me their pinky finger and lungs." Just egging her on.
Right.
She said even when she gave Park the gift, while they were out eating fried chicken, Park opened the bag, checked inside, and they talked about how pretty the finger was. So she's like, Park's lying. Park knows about all of this, and Park wanted me to do this. And they asked Kim, why would you protect Park in the beginning? And she said, I wanted Park not to be punished so that if I'm punished because I did everything alone, then Park could still visit and be my friend. As to why she's confessing about Park being involved now, she says, well, I tried to protect Park for a while, but my parents and relatives told me that it's best to change my mind on that and do what's right for the victim, which is to tell the full truth.
Wow.
Now, there's going to be 2 trials with 2 defenses and 2 stories, if you will.
Oh no, they did. Oh no, they did the big girl wrong, and these are. Oh man, oh my god.
Kim, who claims that Park ordered.
Oh my gosh, look how they. Yeah. What are these artists called? The Courtroom artists. Yeah. Oh my. They really said, I don't know, man. Just give her no chin and no neck. Yeah.
This and then Park. Now, there's going to be 2 trials with 2 defenses and 2 stories, if you will. Kim, who claims that Park ordered this, and then Park, who claims the whole time she thought this was a role-playing game. She didn't realize any of this is real. She argued, I had no idea Kim would actually commit murder. I thought we were playing like we usually do.
Just violated her.
Though, Park was the picture of remorse. I think she had a lot of training and guidance from her attorneys, but she behaved in the way that the public at least maybe wanted her to, that she could in that moment. She's bowing her head, she's apologizing. She's trying to appear like she's reflecting on her actions. Kim, on the other hand, she's very blunt when she answers questions. She doesn't seem embarrassed or feel an ounce of guilt. One of the trial specialists present said it was fascinating. When she sat down, she would look at everybody in the courtroom like this. Her expression,
Like side-eyeing everyone.
yeah, like just looking at them like, what?
Jesus.
Her expression could only be interpreted as one that feels no guilt. When witnesses would take the stand to speak, her face always had the expression of, okay then, let's see what you have to say about me. At one point, the prosecutor's side was going to call Sarang's mother as a witness to testify on the stand during Kim's trial. Kim's defense team tried to block that by stating, why do we have to call the victim's mother to court and hurt her twice? As if they care about anything but getting Kim last time, because if the mother comes, it's going to be more depressing and everybody is going to see the impact and it's going to make Kim look worse. Additionally, if you think it's that bad, a jailhouse informant came forward to say that in jail, Kim was complaining about how everybody's forcing her to apologize to Sarang's parents. She said to her cellmates, I'm having a hard time too. Why do I have to keep apologizing? She said, I keep having to think about the incident.
Oh, woe is me. Where's my sympathy? Why do you want me to apologize so much to the mother of the little 8-year-old girl that I killed for absolutely no reason? What is wrong with y'all? What does the world come to?
And it's very scary. I just want to forget, but I'm told I need to remember all these details. I mean, I'm a person who deserves to suffer, yeah, but I'm going crazy. I just hope this is all over very soon. It's hard to be alive. I want to die, but if I die, then there's still going to be people sad when I'm gone, so I can't die. I don't know who you're talking about. Overall, the way Kim was handling herself in court was...
Dude, I love when Stephanie randomly clocks these people. And people are going to be sad when I die. And then Stephanie was like, girl, who?
I don't know who you're talking about. Overall, the way Kim was handling herself in court was just startling. She's very brazen. Even when someone would ask her a question about the crime, she would just say, could you repeat that? I didn't understand. Could you speak clear, please? One time her attorney was speaking in a microphone and I guess the court couldn't hear him. And they were like, can you please move the microphone? And she just reaches over and pulls the microphone closer to his mouth.
To the lawyer's mouth?
Yeah. Just like, come on, you don't even know how to do your job? Like, that's her energy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very clear she does not care. Another example, the prosecutors had Kim on the stand and they're asking her for the community name that she and Park met online on. And she just stares and responds, I mean, I have the name, but I don't know why that's important. The community chat room is just the place that I met Park, nothing more, nothing less.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. But that must have been to a prosecutor she didn't find attractive. At one point during the trial, she stated that one of the prosecutors was very handsome, and afterwards, when he was in the courthouse, she would keep fixing her hair and looking at herself in the mirror.
Wow. Girl, he do not want you. I don't think anybody wants you. I'm going to be so completely honest with you, honey.
Crazy.
Someone that was present at Kim's trial wrote on a forum, her face looked more innocent and nice than I would think. If you pass through a busy part of Seoul, she has the type of face that you'll see every 10 seconds. I would ask to borrow her phone if I needed to. It's the kind of face that I would follow without any doubt if they asked me to quickly follow them home. And her voice is so kind. So in Korea, there's two types of teenagers. There's teenagers who look like law-abiding teenagers, and then there's teenagers that even as an adult, you just know to stay away from. And you can tell. You go into a store, and there's usually 3 groups of teenagers, and just they're like, yeah. And then they start cussing, and then you're like, okay, I don't think I would ever ask them to borrow their phone.
Yeah.
But she looks like she'd be in her school uniform and very soft and kind.
Yeah.
Is kind of what she's trying to say here. For most of Kim's trial, she just spent it throwing all the blame on Park, even though she's the one that physically murdered Sarang. She just kept saying things like, I have Asperger's, Park was exploiting me. Park would then have a chance to refute those statements, and she would argue, she doesn't have Asperger's, she's just a cruel person. I know nothing about any of this. At one point, the two of them, Kim and Park, they just start screaming at each other in the courthouse during the middle of the trial. They would call each other sons of yeah.
Jesus.
For most of Park's trial, she did seem a bit more, like I said,
Okay, not gonna lie, I wish I could have seen that. I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, to see both her, Chopped and Chompette argue with each other in the courtroom about, yeah.
Apologetic, right? Yeah. For most of Park's trial, she did seem a bit more, like I said, apologetic, right? But I don't know if this is a reflection of people overanalyzing or skinny culture, but I thought it was fascinating that a lot of news headlines read, Park is gaining weight during the trial, so it must mean she's comfortable.
What?
Yeah, which I just feel like you would never say in America. Like, that is such a weird
Yeah, that's such a Korean thing to do, to be honest.
observation to make, because people stress eat like that. Yeah, but they were like, it seems like she's comfortable enough to digest food. It's weird. So then you have these 2 trials for these 2 girls pointing.
Yeah, so she became a fatter fuck. She's not just regular fat fuck now. So that must mean she's guilty. She's clearly comfortable. Yeah, lock her up. Korea, you never cease to amaze me.
The finger at each other enough to digest food. It's weird. So then you have these two trials for these two girls pointing the finger at each other. But one interesting thing to note, and I don't know how to decipher this, okay? Like, I don't know how to understand it. Kim is 16. She's the one that physically killed Sarang.
Yeah.
Park is 18. And even their roles in the roleplay fantasies, Park is the mafia boss. She's the older one, she's the mafia boss. Kim is a henchman. However, in their text messages, Park is using honorifics to Kim, which is formal Korean that indicates respect. Kim does not use honorifics for Park, which doesn't make sense. So usually both parties will use honorifics if it's in like a workplace setting or if they don't feel comfortable. Or only the younger person uses honorifics.
Yeah.
Or both people speak casually.
Yeah, so that's weird. What does that mean? That means Kim is in a higher status, certain kind of status.
Yeah,
to
but
Park?
we don't know what. But one prosecutor thinks this actually. They think that Park is smart. Park gives off a very, very calm impression. However, she's the type to try to control the situation without ever engaging and getting her hands dirty. So they believe even her using honorifics is a way to make Kim feel like she's in control, make it appear like Kim is the one doing everything. But she's probably through phone calls and other messages emotionally manipulating her into doing something.
Right, okay.
But because her language is very like, oh, I'm not the one in charge here.
Yeah.
She's doing all of this without getting her hands dirty.
I see.
That actually works very well with high intelligence people. So like, as we know, Kim is one. Wait, we're talking about Park, right? Park was manipulating Kim. Kim has 140 IQ, and it was shown that she, in class was very condescending. She just thought she was better than people. One way that's very easy with narcissists is if you suck up to them and you make them feel like you're inferior on purpose, like you're doing that to y'all's relationship, like you make yourself appear as inferior, you can get them to do a lot of things. Yeah. For a girl with 140 IQ, she sure is stupid. No. Like, actually do this. Literally, like if somebody is for sure really smart that you know of and they behave the part, I guess, like they know that they're smart and they behave like it and they're kind of cocky, if you just make them feel superior and you suck up to them, you can get them to do whatever you want, low key. Just saying, like, it's just, those people are actually surprisingly easy to manipulate.
The prosecutors also believe that Park has a lot more to do with the crime. Just the phone calls in the middle of the crime. Really, Kim is in this high, intense, emotional state where there is a dead body in her house and she's just calling you to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
People actually believe that Park was guiding her, giving her instructions during those phone calls. Sarang's grandparents that live in the same building, they can't even sleep without medicating themselves. Sarang's parents were recommended by their doctors to take psychiatric medications, but they both said they're scared because they read online that sometimes you can have strong visual things pop up in your mind when you're on these meds and they're scared of what they'll see. Sarang's grandmother would later cry, and this is Sarang's dad's mother. She cries, "My granddaughter, what do I do? I'm here asking every Korean, will the perpetrator not be found guilty? Please save us. Please, my poor son, my son." Sarang's uncle cried to reporters, "Why? Why would they take someone else's pretty child and kill her? Why would they do that? I want to know why. Why? Just tell me why." Sarang's mom said during the trial, although it's hard to even breathe after losing a child whose mere existence brought happiness and strength, I have to bring up this uncomfortable story again because I know it's a parent's duty to reveal the truth and the end for their child. As you've seen through the broadcast and newspapers, the perpetrators have put together a 12-person defense team claiming it was an impulsive crime, mental disorders. However, they conspired with the words, "Let's hunt," to plan this incident and brutally murdered, mutilated, and abandoned an innocent 8-year-old child. How can they argue this was impulsive? My heart is torn by the behavior of trying to cover up such a crime with social status and money without ethics or morality. I plead to all the parents of this land. I am the mother of Sarang, the victim of the Incheon 8-year-old murder case. She begged parents to sign a petition to abolish the juvenile sentencing law. During the end of the trial, Sarang's mom had to go and give a victim impact statement. She says about the day everyone was looking for Sarang. "The police went silent, no one would say anything, and my husband was crying. What do we do? What do we do?" That's when I realized my child wasn't coming back. I couldn't sleep or breathe. So I just moved as if I was running away. I thought if I could just escape, just keep moving, I might be able to breathe. I went to see my daughter's body in the morgue. I didn't expect her face to be like that. My daughter couldn't close her eyes. Half of her face was dark red with blood. I wanted to see my daughter in pretty clothes to send her off, but she wasn't in a state for that. So I had to cut up one dress into different pieces because she was dismembered so that I could dress her.
Oh, dude. Oh, man, this is just, what a sad conclusion it's shaping up to be. Please tell me they get some kind of very good sentencing.
She continues, "They said they were going hunting? How can they say that? They're not human. Please hold the defendants accountable for their crimes and deliver a verdict befitting the price for their sins. Please impose a severe punishment. Sarang's father testified saying, really? Just because of this one reason of mental illness, she killed and even abandoned the body? Does that even make sense? They're trying to get the offenders out by any means, using the juvenile's mental illness, trying to reduce the sentence even just by a little. That's all I can think of. I can't forgive them, really. Even if they're 20
Wow, so the parents are pieces of shits too.
years older, even if they serve 15 years, 30 years, they're gonna be out. And then what? You're gonna let her be free until she attacks someone else again? It's been said frequently about these two Incheon child killers. These are people who commit murder simply because they want to experience committing murder. Other child trial specialists have stated about Park, even though technically she was an adult at the time of the crime, how do you eat fried chicken while carrying parts of a victim's body? Part of a little child.
No, yeah, remember when Kim brought the gift, the messed up gift, which was the girl's body parts, to Park, they ate right after that. They went to go get chicken with those remains in the bag.
The judge fried chicken while carrying parts of a victim's body. Part of a little child. The judge announced the verdict and sentence. Kim, 16-year-old Kim, would be sentenced to 20 years in prison. That is the maximum allowed under the juvenile sentencing law. She was technically given life, but because she's 16, life can only be 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So she got lucky because of the not the law. Okay, yeah, the law, but also just the rules. So she actually would have gotten the maximum life sentence, but the sentence stopped at 20 years because she's under 18.
That is crazy.
Park was given life in prison.
Because
But
she's
it's,
18.
don't smile. It's not going to be good. Okay, it's going to get bad.
What?
Park allegedly turns to her attorneys and states in the court, why is that who did the murder gets 20 years and I get life in prison?
Ooh.
Her attorneys immediately appealed the sentencing, which Park was deemed an accessory and like a conspirator.
No, I can definitely see her getting off with that. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of crazy to think about. She obviously deserves life in prison, but because that's actually such bad luck in terms of justice. So Park is about to be saved because her friend would have also gone the life sentence, which would have solidified both of them in prison for life. But because she's 16, Kim is 16, it got blocked until 20 years instead of a life sentence. So she only gets 20 years in prison. Meanwhile, she can then use that to her advantage and be like, wait, look, she can only get 20 years in prison because she's a minor and she's the one who actually did the murder. So I should get less than 20 years. Bro, actually busted. Not in a good way. Like, people that play video games usually say busted, like, oh, busted, like, wow, this character is so good and broken. No, I mean that law system is absolutely ridiculous.
Murder. But now they're trying to appeal it and say that she was an accessory after the murder. The court states they will be reducing her sentence from life in prison to 13 years. Kim is going to be released in 2037, where she will be 36. Park is going to be released in 2030, where she will be 31. Some netizens have stated they actually think Park is the scarier of the two. Others just resort to expressing their frustration by commenting, these crazy these should die.
Wait, so Park is going to be released in 4 years or 5 years?
Others just resort to will be 30. Is going to be released in 2037, where she will be 36. Park is going to be released in 2030, where she will be 31. Some netizens have stated they actually think Park is the scarier of the two. Others just resort to expressing their frustration by commenting, these crazy these should die. They should go through the same thing, cut off their fingers. But one big thing is, before the two are released, netizens want their full identities disclosed.
Yes.
They state if they can't get punished harshly, at least let everyone know who they are so the general public can protect themselves. One netizen wrote, why can't their identities be disclosed? Disclose it for the safety of the nation. The crazy part is, it's alleged that Kim threatened some of the people working on her case even. She allegedly looked at one of the investigators and said, I'll come find you when my sentence is over.
Jesus.
But she could argue it's interpreted as, to thank you for teaching me about remorse. I didn't mean it as a threat. Yeah. Now, side note, there was
Bro,
one...
I'm literally... Oh, wait, no. I'm going to Korea this October. So, no, I'm good. I'll be safe. I'm not going in 2030, though. Fuck that.
Journalist who did release a blurred image of Kim's face. Kim's mom, her mom, calls the media company. Her voice sounds very agitated, and she screamed, my child is not someone who would do that. She was manipulated into committing the crime. What did our child do that was so wrong? Do you know how hard it is for us right now? And you post that picture? We can't even go home to feed the cat right now. Because I guess their house was being hounded by reporters. The journalist said it was so ridiculous.
Wow.
Kim also sent a letter to a journalist that reads, I have no plans for what kind of life I'm going to live after my release. I think it's premature. After continuing my studies a bit more, I hope to do something that can help others using that as a stepping stone, you know? I hope that various studies I'm doing here now will serve as a foundation for that. Someday I dream of becoming a small light that shines on those living shadowed lives so that they can make choices that they won't regret with my help. Sarang's mother was interviewed after the trial, and she said one of the biggest things weighing on her heart was the fact that she had recently purchased a phone for Sarang so that she wouldn't have to ask adults for their phone at the playground. And she was just holding on to it, waiting for the perfect time to surprise her with it.
Damn, bro. And that's what like did her in, right? Because she didn't have a phone.
And she feels a lot of guilt looking at that phone. And she said, quote, I didn't know all of this would happen because of a cell phone. Which
Bro, I
I
wanna
think she's putting
cry.
a lot of blame on herself. I don't think it was a cell phone. It's clearly Kim and Park. But what are your thoughts on this case?
Like, that actually
The
gave
fact
me
that Kim got
chills
22
right
years,
there.
And the fact that she's 16 and that good at covering up a crime scene. Who knows if she goes on to commit more crimes when she gets out? Will they even find out? But that's it for today's case. Please
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, think about it. It's actually insane. A 16-year-old honestly performed a murder better than some of the most famous serial killers that we've heard about, like here in America, for example. 16 years old, and she would have gotten away with it had she just not left those shoes at the front of the house. Like, she would have gone away at least for a longer period of time. Yeah, Korea, I really hope they fix that legal system because of that upper limit that they had on her. Like, oh, she's not an adult yet legally, so we gave her the life sentence, but it capped out at the mandatory 20-year sentencing ceiling for minors. And because of that ceiling, for Kim Park, the actual 18-year-old that could have gotten life in prison, was sentenced to a lesser sentence as well, because it's not fair that the killer gets less years than the person who was an accessory to the murder, who didn't actually kill anybody. That's just, they got off so lucky. The fact they even get to walk free at all, like, yeah, they're losing a good amount of their life, but I mean, that girl never got to see past 8 years old. It's always hard to end one of these YouTube videos with whenever the case is this tragic and sad, and the sentencing, she did not get justice. Baby Sarang, she deserved way better than this court ruling. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube. I'm sorry if this brought your spirits down. I'll see you guys in the next video. Big L.